Well, joining me now, of course, is fantastic Spanish journalist Juan Castro. We're going to talk after an intriguing international break about the games to come. We're going to start in the Basque region as Real Sociedad take on Real Madrid. Real Madrid 1.76 to win this. Real Madrid seem to me, Juan, to be a side who are still trying to recover from the Euros. Is that fair?
Yes, I think mostly they're big names, no, like Kylian Mbappé, Vinicius and Rodrigo from Copa America. They come from playing with Brazil, not many success. So I think it's a really difficult stadium for Real Madrid. So I think it's still they are recovering. They are trying to connect with to link all their big names. So I don't think it's a good stadium for Real to go.
But Real Sociedad haven't been particularly strong so far, have they? They won at Espanyol, but they've not looked great, Sociedad, so far.
No, I mean it's not the same Real Sociedad than last year. That is true. Still, they for the big names like Oyarzabal, Kubo has been a good season in terms of performance. You know that Oyarzabal is also injured. I think the biggest name so far has been Kubo. Also, they suffer a lot. They're lost like Mikel Merino, which is very important. Also, Lenormand going to Atletico. So I mean, it's really minus Real Sociedad in comparison from the last season.
And it's interesting as well, isn't it, that Real Madrid, obviously, so far at the Bernabeu, they've back-to-back wins. It's been pretty simple. They've won 2-0. Away from home is actually where they've looked weakest as well, isn't it? Those two draws at Las Palmas and at Mallorca. Are we worried this is going to be a trend over the course of the season, that Real struggle a little bit more on the road?
I think it's still. I mean, it's a bit early to say that. I mean, only two stadiums, two Iceland, one Las Palmas, Gran Canaria, the other one Mallorca in Palma, Mallorca. So I think it's quite early. But I have to say you that it's not a good stadium to recover from that. The one who they visit this weekend in San Sebastian.
Let's move on to Mallorca, we just mentioned there, against Villarreal. Villarreal are one of the sides who've surprised me the most this season with their start. I looked at their squad going into the season and thought it looked weaker than last season, and yet they've been really, really good at the start of this term. That great win over Celta Vigo, of course. They won away at the Pizjuan against Sevilla. And they're 2.9. They're going to Mallorca, who have been quite good so far, but I think Villarreal are really interesting. I think Villarreal have a good chance of winning this game at Mallorca.
Yeah, absolutely. But Mallorca is not an easy stadium. Also, his star is coming from Muriqui. He has scored twice with Kosovo, so he's in a good performance. They try to make the stadium, Mallorca Stadium, some mocks like a big, construction, a strong construction. And but it's true that Villarreal is one of the teams who best has better play in so far in this season. They suffer a bit in the forward because Danjuma has gone, but I think still they can do it.
Yeah, Villarreal look really, really intriguing in that game. And Mallorca, as we mentioned, that great draw to start off against Real Madrid. They're no chumps, but I just thought Villarreal were interesting. Now, speaking of interesting, you and I discussed before the season, we don't quite know what we're going to get from Barcelona yet. They have been extraordinary. Obviously, we spoke just before that 7-1 victory last time around. Hansi Flick has won Manager of the Month, understandably. They look incredible at the moment, Barcelona, but they're taking on a side who've had back-to-back wins in Girona and look pretty handy.
Yeah, the surprise of the season so far. Everybody's talking here about Hansi Flick. Everybody loves Hansi Flick now in Barcelona. What about Xavi Hernandez? But it's true that they have performed really well in terms of goals with Lewandowski, in terms of playing. They play an attractive game as well. So, people in Barcelona is really happy. But they go to Girona, which is one of the teams who best played so far in this La Liga. And I think it's gonna be the most interesting game in this journey. I think it's gonna be really a tough match, probably a very offensive match for both. But still, I think Barcelona is favourite.
Yeah, they are 1.84. What has changed about this Barcelona side? Is it just a fresh approach? Is it a clean? What is it that's brought Barcelona from a team who pre-season we were worried about to a team who won 7-0 last time around?
Well, I think first of all they have really good players, really good youngsters. So that's
Yeah,
really important. Maybe we didn't realize last season because of the Xavi crisis, but they have really good names in terms of youngsters. Also, they have Lewandowski, which was one of the best scorers in the last decade here
yeah,
in Europe. And third of all, very important, I think they have like a fresh air without Xavi. Like the Xavi was too much pressure for the Barcelonismo, for the team, for the
yeah.
ambience, for the press. I think without Xavi, they avoid this pressure, and now with a fresh coach, they are trying to renew the team. So I think that's very important. This no Xavi pressure.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I hadn't really thought of it like that. In that he kind of brings that golden period with him, doesn't he? And all of a sudden, when you add that to the financial problems and all the other pressures of just being Barcelona, that might get too much. Whereas, like you say, Flick comes in, it feels fresher. I mean, Rafinha looked really sharp. Obviously, got a hat trick in that 7-0 victory as well. And Dani Olmo has settled really nicely into this team too.
Yeah. Also, we have to say that Dani Olmo probably is injured, so
Yeah,
he won't play because he came injured from the national team. But still, with that, I think they are favorite. They signed really well because it was not true to get the void of Gundogan, for example.
yeah.
But they did it, and they came and they signed this Dani Olmo, which was one of the surprise player in the Euro. I think they really did really well in terms of transfer. But Dani Olmo probably won't play on Girona.
No, and that's been the problem with Dani Olmo his entire career, isn't it? In that he's a phenomenal player, but even wherever he's played, there's been issues about staying fit for long periods of time, and that might be an issue further down the line for Barcelona. It's a ridiculous question to ask, Juan, because we're talking about Barcelona. But are we now convinced that they are proper challengers for the title this season?
Yes, of course. I mean, we have to say that maybe three games ago I will say no,
Yeah,
but now
exactly.
yes. Why not? I mean, I think the minds change even here in Madrid, and
Yeah,
now Barcelona is a serious contender for the La Liga. I think Real Madrid has not to be confident with Barcelona power because they have already show that they can do it. Why not? I mean,
yeah.
if they continue to play with this game, I think they can do it.
If they're starting to get concerned in Madrid, then you know it's an actual concern. If they're starting to get concerned there, it's people are starting to worry. We'll finish with a game in Madrid. Atletico taking on Valencia. Valencia, no surprise to see how badly they're struggling at the moment with all of their problems and everything else. Atletico don't really concede. This looks like a pretty simple home win to me.
Yes, probably yes. I mean, it's the last game of Sunday night game, and people will be watching at TV. It's a good game, and it's what you say is true. I mean, Atletico last season was really strong at home, so normally they can do it. Julian Alvarez has already scored with Argentina, but not with Atletico. People is really willing to see this first goal of Julian in La Liga. And as you say, Valencia only 1 point. He's at the deepest bottom of the table. They have to rectify. They have to to recover. But I think it's gonna be a really good, difficult match for Valencia in Metropolitano.
Yeah, pretty much the shortest favourites of the week as well. Atletico Madrid 1.36 at the time of recording. If you'd have said sort of 7, 8, 9 years ago, Juan, that two of the bottom three, even after only 4 games, but it wouldn't be surprising that Sevilla and Valencia were in the bottom two of La Liga after the first few games, and you'd have told me to get out of the house, wouldn't you? That the collapse of those two has been, well, in particular Valencia, has been pretty extraordinary.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's the biggest surprise so far in La Liga But this, is the reflect of the crisis of two really big teams here, that they didn't do the things well in the transfer. They didn't well in the financial way of treating the club. So I think they really did it really bad in the transfer things, and now they are in this situation that also they have this reflect now on the field, and now they are on the bottom. I don't think they will be relegated. I
Right.
have to say, but so far they are in the bottom of the table. Yes.
But it's strange that it wouldn't be really surprising if Valencia were in the Segunda next year. It just wouldn't be surprising. It might not happen, but it wouldn't surprise us anymore, which is just a crazy thing to say. And certainly from when I was growing up, the idea of Valencia being at the bottom of La Liga is madness. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it would be a surprise because Valencia has been really bad in the last 5 seasons. But in terms of historical terms, let's say, it will be a really big surprise here in Spain.